There is a tiny island in the Pacific Ocean that most people have never heard of, and right now it is selling passports for $90,000. But here is the twist. That price disappears on June 30th, 2026. After that, the cost jumps significantly. So what exactly is happening here? Why does it matter? And who is actually buying these passports? Stick around, because this video covers one of the most unusual citizenship opportunities on the planet right now, and the window to take advantage of it is closing fast. But before explaining how the program works, you need to understand why people are suddenly scrambling to get second passports. Because to a lot of people, the idea sounds extreme. Why would anyone need more than one passport? The answer is simpler than most people expect. Think about what a passport actually is. It is not just a travel document. It is a key. It determines which doors open for you and which ones stay locked. It shapes where you can live, where you can work, which countries you can enter without a visa, and critically, where you can go when things go wrong back home. People who study this topic call it geopolitical insurance. The basic idea is that relying on a single country for all of your legal identity, your banking access, your travel rights, and your long-term security is a form of risk. And for a growing number of people, entrepreneurs, remote workers, investors, retirees, families, that risk feels increasingly worth managing. A second passport creates options. It could mean visa-free access to countries that your primary passport cannot reach. It could mean the ability to open bank accounts or start businesses in different jurisdictions. It could mean a backup plan if political instability, currency collapse, or policy changes affect your home country. And for some people, it is simply about freedom, the ability to move through the world without bureaucratic friction. And that is exactly why programs like the one in Nauru suddenly get attention when a deadline appears. Now, there are several ways to get a second citizenship. You can marry into it. You can live in a country long enough to qualify for naturalization. You can dig through your ancestry and find a grandparent who qualifies you for a heritage passport. Or, and this is the path relevant to this video, you can invest in it. This is called Citizenship by Investment, or CBI, and it has become a significant global industry. If topics like second passports, visa strategies, and global freedom interest you, subscribe. That's exactly what this channel covers. Back to citizenship by investment. The concept is straightforward. A country needs economic development. It has something valuable to offer. In this case, legal citizenship and a passport. So it creates a program where qualified applicants can make a financial contribution in exchange for that citizenship. The country gets funding, the applicant gets a second passport, everyone gets what they want. This model has existed in various forms for decades. Countries like St. Kitts and Nevis, Malta, Vanuatu, Jordan, and several others have long-running programs. The prices vary enormously. Some programs cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, some are more accessible. And the quality of the passport, meaning how useful it is for travel and residency, also varies. Which brings us to Nauru. So why is a country this small suddenly selling passports to foreigners? Most people could not find Nauru on a map without help. That is not an insult. It genuinely is one of the least known sovereign nations on Earth. It sits in the central Pacific Ocean, northeast of Australia, surrounded by open water. It is the third smallest country in the world by area. Its entire population is about 12,000 people. The capital city, Yaren, is not even officially designated as a capital. It is simply where the government operates. So what is the story of this tiny island? Nauru's modern history is actually fascinating, and understanding it helps explain why a country this small is selling citizenship. For most of the 20th century, Nauru was one of the richest countries per capita in the world. The reason was phosphate. The island sits on massive phosphate deposits, a resource used in fertilizer production, and during the peak mining years, the revenue was extraordinary. Nauruans essentially did not need to work. The government funded everything. There were no income taxes. Luxury goods were imported. Life was, by external appearances, remarkably comfortable. But phosphate is not infinite. The deposits ran out. The wealth that was not saved or diversified disappeared. Today, Nauru faces genuine economic challenges. The land that was mined is scarred and difficult to develop. The country depends heavily on foreign aid, primarily from Australia, And like many small island nations, it is looking for new revenue streams. Selling citizenship is one of those streams, and Nauru's program, launched relatively recently, is priced at a level that is meant to attract serious buyers without being out of reach for the ultra-wealthy market that Caribbean programs sometimes target. Here is how the Nauru Citizenship by Investment program currently works. Here is what the numbers actually look like. The base contribution for a single applicant is $90,000. That is the headline number, and it is the number that gets attention, but it is not the only number that matters. On top of the base contribution, applicants pay a $5,000 application fee. Then there is a due diligence fee, which covers the background checks, verification processes, and administrative work that any legitimate citizenship program requires. That due diligence fee ranges from $6,000 to $10,000 depending on the specifics of the application. Add all of that together for a single applicant and the realistic all-in cost lands at approximately $102,700. Call it around $103,000 to be safe. For families, the numbers shift. A family of 4, 2 adults and 2 children, comes in at approximately $119,700 total under the current pricing structure. That is still a significant investment, but compared to many competing programs, it represents real value for what is being purchased. Now here is the part that trips people up when they first hear about this. And here's the part that surprises most people. The majority of buyers will never live in Nauru. Many of them will never visit Nauru. That is not the point. This is what insiders call a paper passport strategy. The value is not the location. The value is the document and what it legally enables. Buyers are purchasing a second legal identity, a backup travel document, and the rights that come with Nauruan citizenship without any expectation or requirement to relocate. Think about the profile of someone for whom this actually makes sense. An entrepreneur based in a country with an unstable currency or restrictive banking regulations. A remote worker who wants the freedom to spend extended time in multiple countries without visa complications. A high net worth family that wants a contingency plan if things deteriorate politically in their home nation. A global nomad who wants more options, more flexibility, and more peace of mind. For these people, the question is not whether they want to live on a Pacific island. The question is whether the rights and flexibility a second passport provides are worth the cost. For a growing number of people, the answer is yes. And speaking of travel, if you are someone who moves between countries regularly, or you are planning to explore more of the world, make sure to check the description of this video. There are links to accommodation deals and flight search tools, including options through Kiwi and Expedia that can help stretch your travel budget significantly. And remember, the entire reason this program is getting attention right now is the deadline. Because this is the part that actually makes this moment urgent. The current pricing structure for the Nauru Citizenship by Investment program is promotional. The $90,000 base contribution is set to expire on June 30th, 2026. That deadline is not arbitrary. It was established as part of the program's initial launch phase, and once that window closes, the base contribution is expected to rise to somewhere between $105,000 and $115,000. That means the price increase after June 2026 could add anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 to the base cost alone. When you factor in the application and due diligence fees on top of that, the total cost for a single applicant climbs well past $120,000. For families, the jump is even more significant. This kind of price escalation is not unusual in the citizenship by investment world. It is actually a pattern. Programs often launch at competitive prices to attract early adopters and build a track record. Once the program establishes itself and demand increases, prices go up. The people who moved early got the best deal. Everyone who hesitated pays more. So who should actually be paying attention to this, because it is not for everyone and it is worth being honest about that. This strategy makes the most sense for people who already have some financial mobility. Someone sitting on liquid assets who is already thinking about wealth diversification, international tax strategy, or geopolitical risk management is the natural audience. For those people, $103,000 for a legitimate second passport from a sovereign nation is genuinely competitive compared to other options available in 2026. It also makes sense for people with specific travel needs. If a primary passport has limited visa-free access, which is the reality for citizens of many countries across Asia, Africa, South America, and parts of Eastern Europe, a second passport from a program like this can meaningfully expand travel freedom. Even a modest improvement in visa-free destinations has real practical value for someone who crosses borders frequently, and it makes sense for people thinking about legacy. Citizenship acquired through investment often carries inheritance rights. Depending on the specific rules of the program, children born to citizens may inherit that citizenship automatically. That means the investment made today could provide passport rights to the next generation without any additional contribution. For people who do not have significant liquid assets or who are not already in a position where international diversification is a priority, this particular strategy is probably not the right next move. There are lower-cost paths to second residency and eventually citizenship through long-term naturalization programs, digital nomad visas, and retirement visas in various countries. Those paths take more time but require far less capital upfront. But Nauru is only part of a bigger trend. Now zoom out for a moment and look at the broader picture. What is happening globally with citizenship by investment? Prices are rising across the board. Programs that were affordable 5 years ago are now significantly more expensive. Several countries have closed or suspended programs entirely, often under pressure from the European Union or due to concerns about due diligence standards. The supply of accessible, affordable, high-quality citizenship by investment options is shrinking, and demand is not going anywhere. If anything, it is accelerating. The reasons are not hard to understand. The world feels less stable than it did a decade ago. Political polarization, currency volatility, supply chain fragility, pandemic-era memories, and the general sense that relying entirely on a single nation-state for security is risky. All of these forces are pushing more people toward what wealth managers call jurisdictional diversification. Nauru's program is one of the few remaining options in 2026 that offers legitimate citizenship at a price point below $120,000 for a single applicant. After June 30th, even that window closes. Here is the bottom line. A tiny Pacific island with a population of 12,000 people and a history built on phosphate mining is offering something that people with far more resources have paid much more to obtain elsewhere. A second legal citizenship from a sovereign nation, no relocation required, with a deadline approaching in a matter of months. Whether or not this specific program is the right fit depends entirely on individual circumstances, financial position, primary citizenship, travel patterns, risk tolerance, and long-term goals. But the strategy it represents, using citizenship by investment as a tool for global freedom and geopolitical insurance, is one of the most powerful moves available to internationally minded people in 2026. The people who understand this are already acting. The people who do not often wish they had once prices go up and options disappear. If this kind of strategy is interesting, second passports, alternative residencies, global banking, tax-smart living, travel freedom, then make sure to subscribe. This channel covers all of it, and the content is designed for people who want real information, not surface-level advice. Check the description for links to flight deals and accommodation tools. Whether the next stop is Nauru or anywhere else on the map, the right tools make the journey significantly cheaper. Programs like this don't stay cheap for long. The window is open right now, but by July 2026, it will almost certainly cost far more.